that's fine. Okay, we're good. All right, I am going to call to order the Whatcom County Council meeting for September 10th, 2019, and the first item is to call the roll.
Barbara Brenner. Here. Red Brown.
Barry's excused.
Barry Buchanan.
Here.
Tyler Bird.
Here.
Todd Donovan.
Here.
Carol Frazee.
Here.
Satpal Sidhu.
Here.
Okay, would you all join us in the flag salute? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, if you got cell phones turned on, turn them off. I'm glad that was in my script here. If you are going to hand out paperwork for council members, make sure you give a copy to staff over here. Our first item is minutes. We got a 6.
I move approval.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Not about the ones from July 23rd. All right, no discussion. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. No opposed. That passes 6-0 with Mr. Brown excused. Okay, we're now into open session, so anybody can come down and talk about whatever they want. It says audience members can speak to the council on anything that's not scheduled for public hearing. We don't have any public hearings today, so you got 3 minutes. Our clerk will tell you when you got 30 seconds, so come on down.
Hi, thank you. I'm Dave Grant. I'm the presiding judge of the Whatcom County District Court. I work right upstairs on the fourth floor. Used to be down here a little bit on the first floor. I came here tonight to thank you all. You jointly gave additional funding to the district court to allow us to explore and implement more out-of-custody jail alternatives, pretrial supervision possibilities, and you even gave us more money in our budget, thank you again, to help us address the treatment of domestic violence offenders. And both of those are in the works, and I just wanted to thank you all for doing that and share just a couple of stories if I can. I was motivated to come and say thank you by a recent hearing I had on a probation violation. It was a woman who she'd been convicted of, it's an atypical case because it's gender atypical. You know, it's typical, but for the offender's gender. This lady was convicted of a domestic violence assault, and because of her temper and her drinking issues, in sentencing her, required her to get an evaluation for anger management and also for drug alcohol treatment if necessary. Well, she was struggling, trying to get the money to get those evaluations done. In the meantime, we were trying to make sure she maintained her sobriety, so we were calling her in to do periodic office visits, do what we call urinalyses, UAs, to make sure she was abstaining from the use of drugs and alcohol, and that was causing a problem. So she just literally wasn't showing up for some of her appointments, and some of her UAs were coming back with dilute. And so I had this probation violation hearing in front of me, and the probation officer was suggesting that I put her in jail for 5 days because, of course, she admitted she didn't do those things. So I inquired as to what was going on with her. She happens to be a mother of 4 children. Age ranges from, she was 2, 4, 13, and 15-year-old kids. She works in a shingle factory up by Sumas, and she works rotating shifts. Every week they switch around, and her dilute UAs were coming back because it was hot. It's August, nearly 100 degrees in the facility, and she had to hydrate, and that caused that UA problem, all right? And she also was having problems getting in to see her probation officer for these UAs and follow-up appointments. And that was causing her to be on the cusp of getting fired from her employment. All right? Yeah. So, because of the funding that you guys provided us, I was able to come up with an alternative which we wouldn't have at our disposal just a few years ago. I was able to put her on what we call it a SoberLink. It's a little portable breath testing machine. And she had certain windows throughout the day that she'd have to blow into this machine.
Seconds, please.
Prove that she was maintaining her sobriety. And So that's what we got her going on, and I'm trying to cut it short, Dana. And so I was able to keep her out of jail and keep her employed, and I'm hoping that in the near future I'll be able to get some of that funding that you also graciously gave us to help her get her anger management evaluation and pay for that treatment, and keep her employed, keep her feeding her children, keep her housed. I think we have some people concerned with housing as well. And I just wanted to share that story, a couple of real brief ones. Thank you. The other day, my court administrator was riding up in the elevator, and he overheard one defendant talking to another coming up, and the defendant was complaining about how myself or Judge Elich had ordered him to wear it's an ankle bracelet that we now can do because of your funding, to monitor his sobriety pending a trial. And he was complaining about it. The other guy turned him in the elevator and said, "Oh, don't complain, that thing saved my life. I've been sober ever since I put that on." And recently we've had at least half a dozen cases where probation people who had transitioned from pretrial, sobriety supervision using those electronic methodologies to post-conviction. And they're actually asking the probation officer to let them continue to use the ankle bracelet or this SoberLink device because it's supported them in their sobriety. It's changed their life. And so it's gone beyond what we had envisioned initially, and I'll probably be spending all of our money to help those folks maintain that crutch and help them with some of their sobriety even after the fact. So it's kept people out of jail, kept them working, kept them in their homes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Judge. All right, I'm not supposed to applaud, but I'm okay. Mr. Peterson.
Hi, Jim Peterson, President of Homes Now. Been a long time since I've been here. Been a lot happened. In case you haven't noticed, we ran a successful tent encampment behind City Hall for 3 months called Winter Haven. We housed 4 people. Then we moved to Sunnyland neighborhood. We were there for 7 months, and we housed 10 more. Now we don't have any tents. We're all in tiny homes. We built 22 tiny homes in 25 days. I know there was always doubt whether Homes Now could do what they said they could do, but we've always come through. So last night I went to City Hall and asked them for 2 pieces of property. We need to have some property to move. Our goal is to have 4 tiny home villages by November of next year. We asked the city for 2 pieces of property. All we need is a 1/4 acre apiece. We want them to have access to electric and water. We do not care about sewer. So I'm here at the county to ask the county if they can find a 1/4 acre of land, and amazingly, I want it inside the city limits because we've got a working relationship with the planning department, and we can get a 1/4 acre from the county, then we can permit it through the city. But we need this all by December because the permitting process is 3 months. We're in our current spot until April of next year. What we're asking for is a 1/4 acre of land that we can use for at least a year, preferably 2. Because what we found, when you make us move every 3 months, every 8 months, you tear a community apart. It's going to take us a month to rebuild our community, to get it back to where it was. Plus, the people that are residents, they just get comfortable and they just learn all the bus routes and where they got to go and everything, and now they've got to learn it all again. So I think that if the county, the city, and the port all come up and work together, because on the 17th we're going to the port and ask them for a 1/4 acre. It's not much land. Right now we're on 9,000 square feet, but we need a piece of property. So I'm asking you, the county, to help us find a 1/4 acre for, I'm going to say 2 years. 1 year I'll take, but I'd much prefer 2 years. We plan on having 4 villages by November of 2020. One like what we have now, working and disabled, The next one we build will be for veterans, the next one will be for women, and the next one will be for families. All of them will have 20 tiny homes except the families. We're only going to do 10 tiny homes because they have to be bigger. And plus, there's a lot more help for families in Whatcom County than there is for single people. So that's what I'm here to ask you for. We've got a track record. We have 30% housing rate with the people that we've worked with. And if you ask Chief Dahl, crime goes down 30% wherever we are. So I hope that we can come together and work together.
Thanks, Jim. Barbara Scott.
Yeah, one question, Jim. You talked about how much you need for all that stuff. What if the city, the county, and the port can get together and between us have a piece that covers all that rather than having them all split up?
We want them separated. We don't want to put a big population in one area. Matter of fact, Sunnyland wants us back, so we're hoping the city can find something in Sunnyland. Fairhaven's not going to want us to go, and the Letter Streets want us back. So there's a lot of options. We like going to different areas because what we got to do in Sunnyland, we had a lot of hate against us when we moved there. We got to educate the neighborhood. Then when our permit was up, they got a petition to keep us. So, we want to be spread out because it's not fair to put it all in one area. And that's what we're asking for.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Doug Revell. My nickname is Yoshi. Thank you, members of audience and staff, and members of the County Council, for your attention. I wonder how many of us are familiar with the term Earth Overshoot Day. On July the 29th of this year, the human family is now using resources that the Earth cannot replace. We are living on borrowed time and borrowed resources. For the United States, Earth Overshoot Day is March the 15th. This is absolutely unsustainable. We cannot use more resources than the Earth can provide. We're going to hit a crash point. Science can show numerous examples where species overgrow their niche and the niche collapses and the species collapses in a horrible process of suffering and death. We are headed for that. The climate crisis is only one symptom. We have the wrong definition of success. We define success as consume, consume, consume. We are consuming ourselves into a death scenario. This is unquestionable. The human family right now requires 1 3/4 Earths to sustain itself. That doesn't work out. The United States requires between 4 and 5 planet Earths to sustain itself. That does not work out. We are staring into a chasm of blackness. If you want to look at it spiritually, look at the story of Noah's family in the flood. An entire generation ignoring the truths of how this creation is supposed to work. The flood came along and wiped out the majority of that generation. The climate crisis is part of what's going to do that. If we don't wake up and change the way we live and stop consuming, 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 we are going to dig ourselves a miserable, suffering grave. We have to change our definition of success. We are a species who wants to survive. This is not going to work. We have to wake up and stop consume, consume, consume thinking. Approximately 80% of American adults are overweight or obese.
30 seconds, please.
That's one symptom of the fact that we've misdefined success. That's not success. Success is doing something that's sustainable for ourselves and future generations. I thank you all for your attention, and I wish you all health and well-being. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Heather Dahlberg, and thank you for your time today. I appreciate it. This is my first time being in front of you. Back in 2007, I worked in Hackensack, New Jersey for the North Bergen Superior Court. Or not North Bergen, I lived in North Bergen. Anyways, there was a young man, 15 and a half years old, in front of me, and he was sentenced to 10 years with no early release act, NERA, because he had a bat in his hand during a robbery. I decided that I was going to follow this young man through his whole sentencing, and 4 years ago, July 31st, he was released, and we stuck together through the whole thing, and when he got out, he has his own business, works also roofing for a company, is about to marry Esther, and has just gotten off of his parole. So with that in mind, I thought about the homeless problem we had here in Bellingham, and I thought, what can I do? So I'm going to just look for one person on a corner, and I'm going to ask him if I can follow him, see how long I can help. That one person right now is in jail. His wife died being on the streets alone because of a no-contact order that he violated, and it was with her. His friend Jeremy is now in a car that he is sleeping in, and his liver's failing. But Pat was lucky enough to find Walmart to give him a chance as a homeless man to work, and then Jim gave him a chance to live there. And I know he was instrumental in building all those homes because he was working every day before he went to work, and that's wonderful. I also know somebody from the Sunrise because Pat would tell his counselor about me and what I would do, and she asked me for help, and I told her to apply for Homes Now, and I know her client made it in, and now he's living there. And there was one day that there was this person, Lisa, and she had been in a domestic violence with her partner of 15 years, and she was put in jail. She has mental issues. She did escalate it. And she was spent 9 months stuck in our jail system because she had no home to be released to. So her friend came up to me, who actually is my assistant at work at Western Washington University. I manage the music department. And she said, Heather, I know you don't know Lisa, but will you let her live with you? So I had to tell the kids and everybody, we're going to have somebody move in with us. And we did until she was able to reconcile and get help between her and her partner and move back in, and now they're fine. And they've been there for years. That's really intense, and then the more I work on this, the more I see homeless people. So I go to my work at the library, and there's homeless people that I happen to know are homeless because I work at the food bank.
30 seconds, please.
Anyways, and I try to tell them about this opportunity, but they're full. So we need more opportunities. I have a man at the food bank who comes every Wednesday on his crutches, living in his Dodge van. I know where he lives, and he cries every Wednesday when I tell him there's no openings yet. And I said, but there will be. He is sober, and he needs help. And I'm sure I have other stories about other people that have contacted me and been in touch with me, and sometimes it's a really hard road to work with people, and sometimes it's really a lot of blessings. But I promise you that the work I've done with Jim has been amazing, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, Heather.
Hi, my name is Rachel Duvall. I'm Vice President of Homes Now. I just want to tell you guys, I want to explain to you what Homes Now has done for me, and not just me, but the people I work with, the residents and the community of Bellingham, because they're the ones volunteering for us. For me, it started getting a place, a little really tiny dome tent. That was my start. I have housing today. I am a vice president of a nonprofit that I love. And I change people's lives every single day, and they change mine. I encourage people. We inspire people. We inspire our volunteers in the community. What Homes Now has done for the community alone is awe-inspiring. I see members of my community every single day pitching in, doing what they can to help people. That's it, to help people. These homes that we built in 25 days, by the way, they change people. They make people want to be better. We have a man who's in recovery right now That first day changed his life. He had 7 months out on the streets. He had one day and he's like, okay, that's it. Put me in detox. I want help. I want to do this. I want to change my life. It was that one day that changed his entire life. He didn't feel helpless or hopeless anymore. We're doing that. We've been doing that for 8 months now, 9 months now. It's amazing. I'm asking you to please help us to get this land and so that we can continue to do this. This is an amazing program. And I can't be more happy or more proud of where I am today and of my city because this is being allowed here. And I'd just like to see you guys be a part of that too, because it is amazing. And come down and help us. It's pretty fun to get involved and, you know, see who you find out. When you put a face to those people, one, they're no longer homeless people, and two, you made them feel human.
30
and that's
seconds,
something
please.
that they have lost. So September 14th, we're having a ribbon cutting. Please come down, 12:30. It's going to be huge, and we invite all of you to come down and see it. Thank you very much.
Rachel.
Hi, my name is Eileen Kadish, and I'm here tonight on behalf of the Whatcom County Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee, also known as BPAC. The Public Works 6-year TIP is on the council agenda tonight, and this is the item to which I will address my comments. The Bicycle Pedestrian Advisory Committee supports the multimodal projects contained in the plan. However, they are not enough. The BPAC recommends additional projects be included in the TIP to address climate change and speed up the implementation of bicycle and pedestrian infrastructure in Whatcom County. We propose that Public Works consider the project priority list approved by the BPAC and incorporate at least 2 projects from that list in the annual budget each calendar year. The 2 top projects we would like to see included this year are sections of the Nooksack Loop Trail and the Bay to Bay International Trail. The Nooksack Loop Trail between Bellingham and Ferndale is currently a very active project. We previously spoke to the council about the Port of Bellingham's efforts to open the airport trail to the public, a very welcome action. In addition, the city of Bellingham is willing to build a trail through the Lockwood property to connect Marine Drive to the airport trail. This would enable pedestrians and cyclists heading toward Ferndale to bypass the Marine Drive Bridge, which remains unsafe. We'd like to see the county determine the best route from the north end of the airport trail to the city of Ferndale and take steps needed to ensure this route is safe for cycling. The Blaine Birch Bay Trail Committee has done a considerable amount of work planning a 9-mile trail from Birch Bay State Park to Peace Arch State Park. The Bay to Bay International Trail is a very exciting project and would serve as a great connector for residents in the northwest part of Whatcom County. We urge the council to include a line item in the 6-year TIP to support this trail project. This year, the BPAC is also applying considerable time and effort to update the 2010 Whatcom County Pedestrian and Bicycle Plan. However, infrastructure needs constantly change, so the plan should be dynamic. To allow for maximum flexibility, we propose giving community and neighborhood groups the opportunity to suggest low-cost projects needed throughout the county, such as crosswalks, bike
30
lanes,
seconds, please.
and short sections of sidewalk. We're asking the council to create a special fund, somewhere around $500,000 annually, for a competitive process by which community groups would make a case for projects to benefit a specific neighborhood. There would be a call for projects each year, with BPAC and Public Works representatives selecting those projects expected to have the greatest impact.
Time.
In closing, I'd like to just thank you for the opportunity to address the council and hope you'll consider our recommendations as you review the 6-year TIP.
Thanks, Eileen. Ms.
One
Britton.
question, Eileen. Have you talked to Tyler's here. Or maybe it's Joe, I don't know. But somebody from the administration about this?
Oh, yeah. I meet regularly with John Hutchings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Are the trails dirt trails? Are they dirt trails or are they paved?
They would probably not be paved, but the Bay to Bay Trail, Shelley Moore will be talking a little bit more about that, and I think there will be a range of treatments on that one.
If you're able to find like the right-of-ways, would you be able to find the volunteers to build the trails?
Have tons of volunteers that have been working on that, and yes, we've talked about that in our committee, and we believe that we could get community volunteers to help build these trails, yes.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is Misty. This is Epic. We've been with Homes Now since the beginning, and we've seen the success they've had in such a short amount of time. They've gotten more done in 8 or 9 months than kind of ever in the city. With just the quarter acre of land that they're looking for each camp, they would be able to maintain that success. And I mean, no one likes moving. We all hate moving. These people have to move, every few months. It's stressful and it disrupts the lives and the community structure of the residents. It's hard to focus on mental health appointments, work, interviews, medical stuff, if you're busy moving, trying to find new bus routes, especially for people who are disabled or mentally ill. The model is working. You can see the numbers, but more importantly, in Rachel's story alone, you can see the impact, and it's stunning. It's beautiful. They're saving lives, and the people who are going through that transition are paying it forward and making our community and our city a better place to live for all of us. So if you can help us out, find a little plot of land and let them get comfortable and establish their community and establish themselves within the neighborhood. The neighbors like them. People come down to Fairhaven, see the cute little houses, and they dig it. They want to help out. And the model works. We've showed you it works. So let's get on it and get a few more plots of land and a few more people housed.
Thanks. Ms. Barnard.
Well, I didn't realize Tyler was here, so now that I know he's here. I don't know if you got here at the beginning, but, okay, what's happening with? Yeah, I'm just curious, because this has been brought up before, not this specific request, but this whole thing's been brought up before, and I thought we were kind of making some progress.
So Tyler Schroeder, Deputy Executive. The executive and I have had a couple of different conversations with Jim Peterson and Homes Now, but that hasn't been for 9, 10, 12 months by now. There was conversations about looking at county-owned properties, and I think that was last summer. I'm sorry, I can't quite recall. We walked through some properties that were in unincorporated Whatcom County. We also provided a list of properties that were in incorporated city of Bellingham. My understanding is Homes Now at that time looked at a property out on Northwest and Smith, and because of utility and other costs, it just wasn't feasible for them to move forward with it. If there's an interest in providing the map of properties in the city of Bellingham that we've provided Jim in the past, we could do that, or we could schedule some time to have a committee meeting and sit down and talk a little bit more with council at that time.
Well, I would definitely like to do it because maybe there's properties he's talking about a quarter acre. Seems like maybe we have something that's in the, what do you call it, the
City.
urban, no, well, if it's not, if we're county, we're not city, but in the like urban growth area or something that might be available.
But I think we'll continue with open session, but I like the idea of coming back to this in the
Yeah.
committee. And we did get an inventory when we were talking about the locker placements of city, county-owned property downtown and around.
It was
the
in
city.
it was in the city though,
Yeah, so
right?
we could revisit
I can send that to the council as a whole, and then you guys can follow up as you
Okay.
wish.
So, okay. I think we're over here, it doesn't matter. Everybody just come
So
down.
I didn't mean to,
I know.
we've been talking about this and then it went away.
Next time, I'm gonna gavel you.
Uh-oh.
Don't do that.
I'm not you, that thing right there.
Oh.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Shelley Moore. I'm a commissioner with the Blaine Birch Bay Park and Rec District 2. I'm also here representing all of our commissioners and all of our district constituents. I'm here tonight to ask for your continued support of our Bay to Bay International Trail. It has been our district's #1 request at all of our public meetings that we've had for levies and our master plan. I've researched the 20-year comprehensive plan transportation improvement projects and the 6-year TIP, and most of the trail segments that we are asking to be improved are listed in these documents. It's county right-of-way that we're looking at. I've spoken with John Hutchings at Whatcom County Public Works, and they fully support our efforts to complete this part of the trail. I appreciate the type, size, and location report being done on the California Creek Bike Bed Bridge by Whatcom County Public Works. The one section of our trail that I would like to specifically ask for help with tonight is to provide a feasibility study of our bike ped trail on Dearborn Avenue. This county road is parallel to the Blaine Road, State Route 548, and is currently undeveloped on the south end. We would like to avoid the intersection of Drayton Harbor Road and Blaine Road and keep our bike ped traffic off the State Route 548 with its 45 mile per hour speed limits for as long as possible. We would like to work with the county as long as we can along Dearborn Avenue to Shipyard Road, if possible, the entire length of that Blaine Road section. But we will need to know if we need to start contacting the State Department of Transportation to ask for their help with any portion of our trail that we will have to route back onto Blaine Road. There's a couple of dead-end sections off of Hall Road and Hoyt Road that intersect with Dearborn Avenue. There's some gullies and stuff that we've been undeveloped because of the geography. And so that's what I would like to ask your help for tonight. So thank you for your time and your support and your interest in our trail project.
Thanks, Shelley.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Kitty King, and I live in Birch Bay. My mother and I both have homes in Birch Bay. And I just wanted to follow up to the Bay to Bay Trail. Not only a wonderful tourism opportunity for that area, and a really sort of healthy lifestyle promoting kind of thing. It's bringing in, we see cycling groups from Canada and all over the place, and a number of marathons being run. It would be great to have, but my main concern is public safety, because the roads that they are using right now, some of them have little or no shoulder. And so a runner, a cyclist, or even a group of cyclists on the road means that the car has to move outside of its lane. And people are, as usual, impatient. Sometimes there's curves you can't see, small bridges with no room for cyclists and runners. And so the sooner that this is done, I think the safer it will be, and probably attract even more people to the area. Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Good evening. My name is Chris Orr. I'm the Executive Director for the Whatcom Council on Aging. And I'll start by saying thank you. We enjoy a great partnership with the county and the County Parks and Rec Department in serving seniors throughout Whatcom County. I'm relatively new in my role. I'm just going into my 6th month as the Executive Director, and my office is just up the road in the Bellingham Senior Activity Center. And every day I meet amazing people coming through our doors, and I see the benefits of folks that are staying active and having social interaction and continuing to learn, and even getting a good hot meal once a day in our dining hall. In the first 6 months, I've also done a listening tour throughout the county, And I've just been overwhelmed by the amount of seniors in our community and also the needs and challenges they're experiencing around housing and transportation, healthcare, and other key issues. The population over 85 is the fastest growing demographic in the U.S., and that is holding true here in Whatcom County as well. So, as a new executive director and new to the Bellingham community, I can't tell you how excited I was to be invited to participate in a group called Aging Well Whatcom, and this is a coalition of nonprofit, corporate, public service, and business community members. It's an initiative that was started by the Chuckanut Health Foundation and funded by the Chuckanut Health Foundation. And for 2 years, this amazing group of leaders has been listening and learning and planning on how to make Whatcom County an ideal place to come and age well. And excited to share that they're ready to unveil a blueprint that creates a coordinated approach to making our community an ideal place to age well. And this blueprint has 6 pillars. The first is a cultural shift, creating a full, honest understanding of the realities of aging, information and navigation services, housing, intergenerational community, providing opportunities and connections between generations, transportation, and finally, wellness and healthcare. And each of those pillars within the blueprint also has key strategies for moving those initiatives forward. The invitation that I want to extend to you guys today is that we are going to unveil this blueprint at a summit on September 27th from 8 till 11 a.m. at Northwood Hall. And you've all been invited to attend, and my hope is that you'll join us that day, listen to the work that's been done to date, and provide feedback for us on the work that's been laid out, and hopefully join us in supporting these steps and identifying next steps for moving this work forward. So I hope to see you on the 27th. Thank you.
By the time I leave. But my name is Donna. I live over off in Northwest, and I got this paper from a group called Next Door Neighbor, and it's about this group over here. And they've been talking about the property over off of Northwest, trying to get that property back, and the $57,000 that it would cost to bring in power. And that they were going to ask the, let me get my reading glasses on. Possible county housing fund, whatever that is, from the health department for the money to draw the power in as a permanent place to put the thing. The Northwest neighbors are not okay with this, okay? We've already done our prices on our houses. It's $20,000 off of our property value right off the top of it. So now I'm hearing that you want to move this into another neighborhood, okay, which is fine. But they're saying they're nonprofit, okay? This is taxpayers' property. You guys are Whatcom County Council. Any property that you guys hold as Whatcom County property is taxpayer property. So they are nonprofit. Can't have it both ways. It's still taxpayers. So they're holding it, some of the things they say on this website is horrifying. And not just about normal people, it's about the Whatcom County Council as well. The Bellingham City Council as well. What they say to your face is not the same thing they say on their website. Okay, well, that's just fine. But I am a taxpayer, and I don't like hearing it, because they come here asking you for stuff that I'm going to end up paying for, okay? Which is fine, because you're looking at me, Tyler, because I called you yesterday to bring this up. I wanted somebody to talk to about this.
I was actually hoping I could get a copy of that, or...
Yes, because this is about the Northwest property. You can have it, because I have another copy.
Okay.
So I called the county health department, and they mentioned whatever her name is on their crew. They knew her by name, and they hadn't talked to her yet about it.
30 seconds,
So-
please.
Okay, so they want, they said that they can donate that money, but I'm here to tell you right now, there will be a fight from the Northwest Smith Larson area about it. Because you guys may have the soccer fields all lined up because you guys give them a discount on the pay, your rent from them and stuff, but the neighbors are gonna fight it. We're gonna fight it because, and I got elected to come down here. I tried to call Barbara last night, tried to call you to talk to you about this. But neither one of you could bother to give me a call back. So,
Barbara will call
I'm
you
just,
back.
no, I'm not gonna, because I wasn't home. And when I got the message, it was after 11 o'clock last night.
okay, I'm sorry.
So when you call somebody that late, you can't expect that they might be able to just call you right back.
No, I didn't call you at 11.
No, but whenever you did, I didn't get it till 11.
Okay, well, I was home all day today, though. So the
And
thing-
I was here all day
Okay,
today.
so the thing is, though, you know, I just don't like to see that. You know, it's not okay. So that's just my fault. Well, I'll leave this room, the most hated person in the room. But the Northwest and the Larson Road are gonna fight this all the way.
Glad you came down, so, thanks.
Hello, my name is Elaine Kress, and I want to thank you for letting me speak to you this evening. And I'm here also to speak about the Aging Well Whatcom initiative that Chris Orr spoke about. And on that initiative, I was a volunteer on the housing subcommittee. Over 75% of people wish to age in their own home, or what they call home. And so aging in place has been a focus of mine, both personally in my work life, and I work as a health and wellness coordinator at the senior center as well. And I was, in my volunteer life, I have worked on Bellingham at Home to get that initiative up and going. And we're a program of Whatcom Council on Aging. And one of the things with respect to the needs, and Chuck and Up Foundation did a listening center to look at the assets as well as the needs of the community and older adults and aging well in Whatcom. And one thing that we don't have is a continuing care retirement community. So one of the things that something like Bellingham at Home does is help have graduated care for people that may not even be able to afford to go into a continuing care retirement community if there was one. So Bellingham at Home members get requests for primarily transportation, also some home maintenance, and companionship, amongst other things. So these are some of the things that the blueprint for the Aging Well Whatcom is really looking at the strategies and the goals to help people age well in Whatcom County. So I would, and Chris actually told about how the blueprint was formed. So I'd like to invite you again to join us on September 27th. And you can RSVP at agingwellwhatcom.org if you may have gotten an email. And if you cannot attend, there is the opportunity to get on the mailing list. So thank you very much.
Friday, it's Friday morning? Friday morning, the 27th at 8 o'clock. So. Mr. Briggs?
Good evening, Council. It's been a while. Primarily, I haven't been here because, like a lot of low-income individuals, I have to work nights and weekends and all kinds of odd hours. However, I want to talk to you about two things revolving around home and where you can step up and do the right thing from my perspective. The first one is Homes Now and any other organization that comes along and is trying to do the right thing to supposedly help fulfill what once upon a time was called the American dream of people having their own place to live. You need to not let the effort fall into the black hole like it apparently has done over the last few months in the discussion that just occurred between you and the deputy exec, and find that property that they want to have so that they can build one of those tiny home villages. If there are certain parts of the unincorporated areas within this county that want to become a de facto gated community and scream and say that their property values are going down the tubes potentially, well, then allow them to do that, and we will bypass them and do whatever is necessary to get people housed. The second part of it, having to do with home, is something that I first mentioned to you in December of last year, having to do with, I warned you that things were going to get rough when it came to the climate. The planet is on fire. You've seen it in the news. The Amazon, Africa, the Arctic's melting. People are up in arms about what's going on. It won't make a damn bit of difference about whether we find a quarter acre of land to put tiny home villages if we end up destroying the only home that we have on this planet. Friday of next week, the youth of the world are asking all of us who have failed them massively by sitting on our behinds and not doing the necessary things. They're going to hold climate strikes around the world, and including at the beginning of the UN Climate Summit, and one of them is going to be right here at the Bellingham City Hall starting at 11 a.m. I would expect that if you really care about the generations that come after us, that each one of you would be out there supporting them for however long they're out there voicing their concerns, and in the days and weeks and months and years ahead, okay? This is not a one-day march and let's go home and put the placards away and maybe somebody will do something about it. You've been asked in the past by a number of individuals, including me, to declare a climate emergency, okay? It has to be done at every level of government.
30
and
seconds,
we have
please.
to get the information out to everybody who lives everywhere within Whatcom County, Bellingham, the small cities, about what is going on, what the impacts are going to be, what is probably going to be expected of them, because we have to transformationally change our way of life because our way of life is killing us. There is no more debate. The science is clear. Please do what's necessary.
And if there's anybody that would like to make sure Mr. Elsey doesn't get the last word, come on.
He likes getting the
I
last
know.
word.
It's just like-
No, he said.
No, I was just, no, it's your, go on,
You
come on, Donna.
started this.
It's your turn. I was just making a joke about Patrick always going, Patrick's always waiting to go last. So if there's anybody else that wants to make sure Patrick doesn't go last, you can come on down. So
Can I go
it's
get
your-
behind him?
Yeah. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Hi, y'all. I'm Lynette Allen. I've been here for 41 years, trying to help the people in any way I can as an activist. And I've been volunteering with Homes Now. And I'm really encouraged by what they've done and the record they've made and the fact that there's an awful lot of response from the community, volunteers, donations, amazing builders, people come in, and the next thing you know, it's gone to the next stage, and now we need land, right? So that's what I'm here to say, just reiterate what other people have already talked about, and the fact that it's in the air. It's a transformational time. It's like these people are building community at tiny homes, and I think they ought to be allowed to continue it because it could be a wonderful thing. It already is for a lot of people. And I think whatever you can do to help it continue, that would be wonderful. And I want to thank you for what you've done so far, and also encourage you to realize that there's lots of volunteers now. There's a community of volunteers that have expertise in taking care of these people, helping them, and helping them not just for the moment to keep from freezing and so forth, but to help them find a hand up back into the community, build their own community, get that feeling that they can do it, and then do it, and work again, and be human beings again without that stigma that is so terrible. And so when it comes to the volunteers, I would like to say, please don't stop with this whole thing of, oh, we can't get the staff for these emergency various things that are starting to pop up that we might be able to use this winter. Because we've got this staff, we've got these volunteers, we've been trained even. I've talked to Kelly Linville. She wants to tell me about how we can do that more.
30 seconds,
So we're going to
please.
do that. So that's it. I just see a big change. Please get on board. Let's let it happen. Thank you.
And if anybody else wants to speak, come on down.
Patrick Alice, 4825 Alderson Road, Birch Bay. And I love Jim Peterson's statement, the concept of 4 different places around the city. Yes, he said you don't need to have sewer. I believe in sewer, but you don't need to have sewer. You need to have water. One advantage of having them in closer to Bellingham is that there would have other services that are paid for with tax dollars. So those services could be delivered to them inexpensively. I know 2 homeless people at Birch Bay. Actually, I know 4. But 2 of them, in fact, all 4 of them need help with something, one or another, other than just a place to live. Really came to talk a little bit about, well, I came because you guys put on a good show, about the bicycle path going from the bay to bay. And the first part of that one could be done, I think, without too much of a big investment. Just do it and get people, as many people you can get off the road that doesn't have much space to it. And I think you'll find that helpful. Of course, you know that I know the Birch Bay Drive from Shintaffer all the way through the state park is the real recreational area of Birch Bay. I count cars, I count people walking and people biking. I'm always amazed how many people are on the move, either walking or biking. I get a little unhappy with signs that move out towards and encroach on the bike area. Tried talking to one person once. It didn't work. Wound up talking to the law who talked to him. He found out that I had complained. He came back to the C shop. This happened a couple years ago. It was complaining about me, complaining about him. Now, that sign still creeps awfully close to the pedestrian walkway. I was so pleased this last week. I gave 2 ladies who had 2 dogs 2 thumbs up because I was driving by and they went and moved the sign away from the pedestrian walkway. I thought that was really good. Birch Bay Water Sewer District received an email a few weeks ago. Guy was saying, hey, you're putting out these signs about flushing and about, conservation.
30 seconds, please.
And they're getting a little close to the walkway. And the Water Sewer District, at that meeting, made a decision that those signs wouldn't be too close to the walkways and took action, which I thought was good. Well, hang in there.
What are the signs,
Pat?
Pat?
Try chocolate on that guy?
Did I try what?
Chocolate on that guy.
I not on this one.
No, I meant
Yes,
bringing
yes.
him chocolate.
Yes, I'll bring you some chocolate too.
Oh.
I've got some Hawaiian chocolate that I need to get rid of because it's going to go out of date. You can play with it. Isn't that sweet?
Whoa.
Any questions?
What are the signs that are?
What?
Like sandwich board signs?
Yeah, sandwich board
Are they
signs.
for like
They go to
businesses?
businesses.
Or,
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they on the sidewalks or?
A car needs to pass
And they are right on.
within 3 feet of a person riding a bicycle, okay? Now, that would mean to me that if you're riding a bicycle, nobody should put a sign closer to where you would be riding than 3 feet. Okay? So these signs crowd in, and I'm reluctant to say anything because people get mad at me. You guys get mad at me.
Every week.
Oh, how can anybody get mad at you?
All right. Thank you. Anybody else?
I'll go with you.
For public comment? All right, I want to thank everybody for educating us.
Yeah.
And we listen, so. I didn't say the spurt vote. So consent agenda.
Yeah,
Mr.
from the
Sadiq.
Finance and Administrative Services Committee, there are 5 items, 1 through 5. And the item number 2 received a 2-1 vote, and the other ones received 3-0 vote in the committee, and I so move for approval.
And there was a amended version that's yellow for
What? I don't have it.
consent agenda, that one, I don't, oh.
What was the yellow thing?
441, yeah, this is the.
But what was that about?
This is the yellow
Oh, the imaging. yeah,
imaging one,
okay.
yeah.
Can we pull number 2 and vote on the rest separately?
Yes, so there's a proposal from Mr. Byrd to remove number 2, and then we'll consider the consent agenda?
Yeah, so let's vote from 1, 3, 4, and 5. I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, so for items 1, 3, 4, and 5 on the consent agenda, all in favor, say, oh.
The
Can
other
we
one's
pull
on the
2
other
and 4?
2 and 4, or?
Okay.
Oh, I thought I was on this side. Sorry, we'll do.
Which
2
side are you on?
Let's make sure we got it, so
I was writing on these.
do I have a motion to remove item 2 and item 4?
I move the motion.
No, he can remove them. You don't need a motion.
Okay, but it
They
says make
happen-
sure there's a motion, but I'm just.
No, anybody can
Okay,
pull
so.
it. You don't, yeah, forget
You
it.
should be doing this.
Well, no, you don't want me being chair, believe me.
Okay.
Just for clarity,
Right.
not removing, just voting separately on those 2 items.
So we're removing 2 and 4.
Yes.
Yeah, from, okay.
And it doesn't, yeah,
Okay, so we have is there a motion then to approve 1, 3, and 5?
you got it.
I make a motion to approve item 1, 3, and 5 as they received 3-0 vote in the committee. I so move for approval.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of the consent agenda items from Finance 1, 3, and 5, say aye. Aye.
I have a question. If that comes from committee, does it still need a second? I didn't think so.
All right. I'm a rookie at this,
No, I wasn't sure.
but just in case.
But if we're pulling, we still don't need a second, correct?
Right. Okay, anyway, we didn't need a second, but we had a motion, which is that's what I'm trying to do. So
Yeah.
the motion was for 1, 3, and 5. We had a vote,
Well, that's just, anyway.
6-0 in favor of that. And then Ms. Brennan made it all go sideways, getting me confused.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm kidding. Okay, so we still have items 2 and 4. We'll consider those individually, Mr. Sadoo?
Yes. So item number 2, AB 2019-447 received 2-1 vote in the committee, and I so move for approval.
And it doesn't need a second. Learning. Mr. Byrd.
Oh, right.
I voted no against this earlier, and I'm going to vote no against it again today, because, no, what?
What?
Wasn't the committee recommendation, oops, wrong Cascadia, sorry.
Yes, this is the different Cascadia.
You'll be the first to hear.
Is that the one?
But it's about climate.
That's okay.
But he voted no on this
This is a
too.
dry run. It's not like there's anyone here watching.
Mr. Byrd has the floor.
All right.
I'm just helping.
I voted no, and I'm going to continue to vote no on this one, just because, we did a plan a while back. We still don't know whatever happened to the plan. We didn't use the plan. It got put on the shelf. Now, a couple of years later, we're going to spend another $50,000 to do another plan. Unless we're going to show that we're using these plans, I don't see why we should spend money continuing to build the plans over and over again. I'd rather spend the $50,000 going back to the old plan and implementing some of those projects than paying another consulting firm $50,000 just to give us another piece of paper. That's why I voted no.
Ms. Frazee and then Ms. Brenner.
And I'm not sure, but I believe the last update was 2007. Is that correct? Is that the last time? So I think on the website it says 2007.
I think that's what I
So I think
remember
we
is
should spend
2007.
$50,000 to update that. It's been a long time.
Ms. Brenner.
Well, yeah, I wish you had brought I mean, I've got mixed feelings about this, but I want it to work, so I'm going to support it. But it never occurred to me that whatever happened to what they already did.
Well, we talked about it a while ago when Seth, I think it was Seth that came up and gave us an update.
I remember that.
And asked
I
for the
definitely remember
funding,
that.
so, I had said the same thing then. I'd just rather spend the $50,000 doing some of the items in that plan and then seeing what we could fix than paying for another piece of paper we can't use, or won't use, so.
Ms. Brenner.
Well, I wouldn't mind if we tabled this just to get that specific part of it clarified. I'm interested in knowing that. I have mixed, like I said, I have mixed feelings. I do want to, come up with actionable projects that are positive. And I have, I know it's got me in trouble, I don't really care. I am so tired of hearing that we're all so awful and we're, it's the end of the world and we're all doing bad things. I walk lightly on the earth, and I am really tired of people telling me that we're not doing enough. I feel like lots of people are doing an awful lot. Maybe some aren't, but a lot of people are. And this is a project that I'm hoping will help give us, like I said, positive outcomes. But I'm not doing this because I feel like it's the end of the world. And I'm not doing it because I think we're so horrible what we do. I just feel like we have to look at this with a much more positive outlook and work on this positively instead of whatever, I'm done.
Mr. Sadiq.
Yeah, I think that if we look at the recommendations or whatever they planned at 2007, in last 12 years, things are really different. And I think we do need an update rather than just saying, okay, let's go spend $50,000 on implementing something from 2007. So I'm supporting it, and I totally agree with Ms. Brenner that we just we don't see this, that we are not doing anything. I think there are things getting done, and there's only so much money and so much resources to put towards these things. Mm-hmm. And it is getting more attention from the public, and that's what we do. We react to public demands, and that's what they tell us what to do next. So I think updating that plan and bringing it up to date to what is happening now and what resources things have changed in the last 12 years, and then decide on what items we should take up on to implement. So that's why I'm supporting this.
I'll withdraw I guess it was a motion to table. I agree with what you're saying, but I'm concerned about people looking at this as, we backed them into a corner. It has nothing to do with that. Anytime we can do more positive environmental projects in any way, I think it's a great idea, but I'm just really tired of this attitude that it's never enough. And I think more people need to individually do stuff instead of coming to the government and telling us what we have to do, or it's the end of the world.
Mr. Burke.
I think we should be recycling.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You can't see where I live.
Well, no.
I mean, it's like.
I don't know, we got to figure out what to do with all those aluminum cans.
Oh, sorry.
You should see my recycling.
Number four, recycling.
Yeah, okay.
That is
We're gonna
number
come back to
4.
that. We're on item 2, AB 2019-447. We have a motion to approve.
Yeah.
Any further discussion on that? So all those in favor of approving 2019, actually, this is Mr. Sadiq. Do I do this?
2019-447.
Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
State?
Oh, wait, no, I meant, no, I'm sorry. I was thinking about this number 4.
Okay.
My vote's a no. I
Okay.
apologize.
I thought
So
you
that
kind
passes.
of, maybe I'll just abstain.
5-1 with Mr. Byrd
You gotta be thinking about the
opposed
recycling
and Mr. Brown excused.
I'll do that one.
Okay, so the next item is AB 2019-459. This also received 2-1 vote, Mr. Tyler opposed, and I so move for approval.
Byrd?
Sorry, I totally agree with the program and educating kids on the recycling portion of it. I think it's sad that we can teach kids all day how to put things in different bins, but if the companies can't recycle, then it's a pointless activity. What I don't agree with is question about the organization that we're funding and the political motivations. I mean, we have a lobbyist that shows up, we have people campaigning and donating through this organization, and to me, there's a very fine line here, and I just don't feel comfortable funding an organization that's so politically active at the same time. So I'd support the program if it was done through a different organization.
Brenner?
Well, actually, last time, I can't remember how I voted. I didn't vote no, I either abstained or something, and I had those same concerns. But I'm noticing that resources is not doing all that political stuff. The people who want to do that are actually withdrawing from resources and going on their own doing things. And more power to them, that's fine. But so I'm going to support it because I do feel like they have backed off a lot of this other kind of thing. I didn't like mixing that myself.
Tracy?
I would really encourage Councilmember Byrd to attend one of their educational sessions, just to see if there's any political that they're putting into the children. I really think they do focus on the recycling and waste reduction and do a really good job.
I have no question about the quality of their program in place, but I mean, I'm not going to put public dollars into a political organization that hires a lobbyist and doorbells for campaigns and gets people elected and funds campaigns and makes phone calls and then turns around and asks us for money at the same time. That's just, there's a conflict of interest there to me, and it doesn't make, I don't feel comfortable with it.
Like I said, I thought they were backing off that. I think I'll look into it more because I liked the fact that, I like the fact that.
I love the store down here and what they do at the store, like the whole premise of it. That's just, I don't like the idea of lobbyists in general. They're one of 2 organizations where we have a lobbyist show up at every meeting, if not 2.
There's more than 2.
Well,
Fair enough. Your point's well taken.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Further discussion on that? Okay, so all.
What?
Further discussion? No, you can. All those in favor of AB 2019-549, the resources funding?
459, AB
459, thank you,
yes.
Mr. Sadoo. 2019-459, item 4 on the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No. That passes 5-1 with Mr. Byrd opposed and Mr. Brown excused.
Other items, that's natural resources, yeah.
Yes.
We got one sandwich in there.
The natural resources, we have a blue amended thing.
I
So
had that.
Natural Resources Committee had a presentation on the scoping for the shoreline management plan update and requested that staff give us additional language, additional scoping language, which we have in this blue attachment regarding no net loss and how that can be achieved in this update in terms of some measurement issues. I think everybody's got that. So that was approved 3-0 pending this language. We have this language. Do we have a motion on this?
I'll move to amend to add this language to it.
Second.
Okay. So we have a motion to amend the proposal that we had this morning to include the language that is in the blue other items update. Any further discussion on that? Okay. All in favor of adopting the amendments to AB 2019-424, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. So that passes 6-0 with Mr. Brown excused. And then as far as the main motion, do we have a motion to adopt as amended?
I'll move to adopt the entire amendment.
Second.
Motion to adopt the scoping for the SMP update as amended. Any discussion on that? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Those opposed? That passes 6-0 with Mr. Brown excused. Back to finance.
So now again, from the Finance and Administrative Services Committee, the next item is AB 2019-439, request authorization for the county executive to enter into an interagency agreement between Whatcom County Flood Control Zone District and State of Washington Department of Health in an amount of $600,000. Council acting as Whatcom County Flood Control Zone District Board of Supervisors. This received 3-0 vote in the committee, and I so move for approval.
Discussion, Ms. Wright?
Did I might have misunderstood. Did you say 439?
Yeah.
Yes, 439.
Okay.
Yes.
Any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor of AB 2019-439, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? No? All right, that passes again, 6-0 with Mr. Brown excused. Mr.
The
Smith.
next item is AB 2019-440, request authorization for the county executive to enter into an interlocal agreement between Whatcom County and City of Bellingham for support of U.S. Geological Survey's development of Coastal Storm Modeling System, COSMOS, across the Whatcom County shoreline in the amount of $125,000. Council acting as Whatcom County Flood Control Zone District Board of Supervisors. This received 3-0 vote in the committee, and I so move for approval.
Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor of AB 2019-440, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 6-0 with Mr. Brown excused.
Next item is AB 2019-454, request authorization for the county executive to enter into a sub-recipient agreement between Whatcom County and Whatcom Conservation District for Pollution Identification and Correction Program, PIC, non-dairy agricultural technical assistance and data coordination in the amount of $306,250. Council acting as Whatcom County Flood Control Zone District Board of Supervisors. This also received 3-0 vote in the committee, and I so move for approval.
Any discussion? We're getting really good results from the PIC programs.
Yes.
All those in favor of AB 2019-454, say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed? None. That passes 6-0 with Mr. Brown excused.
The next item is AB 2019-455, request authorization for the county executive to enter into an interagency agreement between Whatcom County and Washington State Department of Ecology to provide Washington Conservation Corps members funding to complete environmental or disaster service projects in the amount of $148,600. County acting as Whatcom County Flood Control Zone District Board of Supervisors. This also received 3-0 vote in the committee, and I so move for approval.
Any discussion on that? Beyond what we had in committee? Okay. All those in favor of 2019-455, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 6-0 with Mr. Brown excused.
Next item is AB 2019-419, ordinance amending 2019 Whatcom County budget, request number 11, in the amount of $986,542. This also received 3-0 vote in the committee, and I so move for approval.
Any discussion on that? And this is a roll call vote, so.
Barbara Brenner?
Yes.
Barry Buchanan?
Yes.
Tyler Bird? Todd Donovan?
Yes.
Carol Frazee?
Yes.
Satpal Sidhu?
Yes.
And that passes 6-0 with Mr. Brown excused.
The next item is 2019-435, request authorization for the county executive to enter into an interlocal agreement between Whatcom County and City of Bellingham to provide dispatch services. This also received 3-0 vote in the committee, and I so move for approval.
Any discussion on that beyond what we had in committee? Okay, so all those in favor of 2019-435, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? That passes 6-0 with Mr. Brown excused.
The next item is AB 2019-436, request authorization for the county executive to enter into an interlocal agreement between Whatcom County and Port of Bellingham for EDI program funding to support the rural broadband construction project in the amount of $750,000. This also received 3-0 vote in the committee, and I so move for approval.
Any discussion? Again, we do this for all those people out there.
Yes.
And then the 3 people watching on TV, we do spend a lot of time in the morning talking about
Well,
this.
there's people listening at home.
Yeah, these
so-
have been in
To the
committee.
3 people listening. at home.
Okay, we're voting.
All those in favor of, this is
436.
signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? None. And that passes 6-0 with Mr. Brown excused.
I did get a text message earlier when I said that from someone saying, no, we're watching.
Thank you.
Yes.
Are they having-
It is true, it is
You need
true.
to
Are our
pan the
committee
audience.
meetings being
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like,
videotaped? No, are our committee meetings videotaped now? Oh, so they can watch it during the day.
The next
Or
item.
anytime.
Mr. Sadoo, we got 4 more.
The next item is
Mr. Sadoo.
AB 2019-437, request authorization for the county executive to enter into an interlocal agreement between Whatcom County and Washington State Department of Children, Youth, and Families for home visiting services to vulnerable families in the amount of $350,008.38. This also received 3-0 vote in the committee, and I so move for approval.
Any discussion?
I just want to say something. I just want to say that these home visits are very important, and, you know, seeing people in their own element and helping them in their own element is more powerful. So I'm going to support this.
This is commonly known as the nurse family, what do we call it?
Yes.
The partnership, something.
Visiting Nurse Partnership, I think it was called.
Voting?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone in a hurry? I'm kidding.
I'm
That
not in a
passes-
hurry, I just don't.
See, that's why I don't need to share, because I'll start rambling. That passes 6-0 with Mr.
Why don't we
Brown
take a
excused.
5-minute break so I can tell,
Because we have 2 more items from finance, and then we're going to, okay. Mr. Sadoo.
Okay, the next item is AB 2019-443, request authorization for the county executive to enter into an interlocal agreement between Whatcom County and City of Bellingham for the Lake Whatcom Homeowner Incentive Program in the amount of $350,000. This also received 2-1 vote. Ms. Brenner was opposed.
we're not in committee. Don't blame it on me.
That's right, sorry.
But I am
You
opposed.
did make a comment, though, I just remembered
I
that.
am opposed.
Oh, yes, of course. Okay, this received a 3-0 vote in the committee, and I so move for approval.
It was a 2-1 vote.
No.
It was a 2-1 vote.
I
It just
was
wasn't me.
Oh, you were opposed.
Ms. Brenner.
Okay. a
Okay, it
different
wasn't me.
person.
I'm not part of that committee, but
All right.
I do have a
I
problem.
stand corrected.
Oh, excuse me. I have a problem with this because I don't think we should be gifting money to people to take care of their property in an environmental way. I'm totally supportive of like no interest loans or something. But I just have such I see people all the time doing things to their property that make it better. And they're not expecting the county to reimburse them. And it just bothers me that we do that with this. Again, we have rules about what's supposed to happen and not anyway, and it just seems like this is one of those times where, on Lake Whatcom especially, that people could be, there are other ways besides gifting money to them.
I 100% agree. We do that kind of program with the septic program. We do it with the wood stove program for fireplace and roof replacements and wood stove replacements. They're both zero interest loan programs. It works well enough that we've been doing it for years. I don't know why we can't do it for this. I think it would work great for this. It would be more scalable and sustainable. It would be self-funding at that point, and that extra revenue that comes in from that, we could either give back to taxpayers, or we could use that to do a bigger project, bulk purchase the stuff to get discounted pricing and have an even bigger impact in the long run. So to me, if we're really talking about having an impact, we can do it a little bit better. It's
Crazy.
And I think Mr. Stoika said today that we could consider the loan program after a year or two of getting those fees, so we can build that up, so we can do the loans.
Well, yeah, I don't want to wait a year or two. That's what I'm saying. And I voted against it for the same reason last time. And, it's like, I don't think we should keep this going anymore.
Mr. Sadoo and then Mr.
Yes,
Britton.
I just wanted to add that actually in Columbia Valley, the wood stove program, Northwest Clean Air Agency has been buying and giving it free, the wood stove, the furnaces to replace the wood stoves of old kind of wood stoves. So they have actually gifting, yes.
There's two programs, but yeah.
Mr.
Yeah,
Byrd,
there are
then
two
Ms.
programs.
Brenner. I think that was the order. If you
Yeah, we could wait a year or two, but again, it's like, for me, are we trying to have an impact, or are we just trying to do the same thing that we've always done? And we can have a bigger impact sooner if we just tweak the program. The money's coming in right now. People have to apply, they get the grants. There's no reason that we couldn't turn that program over and start working on it right now and do that instead of waiting 2 years. The only thing that stops that is this council making the decision to do it. That's it. We could make that decision, they'd implement the program, and it would be done, and we could start having a better impact.
Brenner and then Ms. Frazee.
Well, and I'm sorry that you brought up wood stoves, because to me, the wood stove is like immediate public health and safety. That's right away happening. And however they do it is how they do it. But this is something that's long-term, and it's going to, be an ongoing thing where we're not only going to need funding to do the county's projects, we're going to need to sustain what we've already done. So to me, they're not the same at all.
Ms. Frazee, and then I want to say something.
Okay, I think with the loan program, that takes staff and that takes money just to have that going. So that would probably cost about the same. So I think this incentive program, it's proven that people do better if they are incentivized. And I know there are people doing positive things to their land and everything, but this gives someone the extra push to do that.
So myself and then Ms. Brenner.
Never mind.
Okay, no, well, you'll probably want to respond. But I do hope we kind of keep pushing on the low interest loan thing, but in terms of comparing it to like the septic programs and the incentives with that, or the wood stove programs and incentives with that, there are really strict regulations about what kind of septic system you got to have, and then we can incentivize people to make them better. There's federal regulations about what kind of wood stoves you can sell and you can have. You try to incentivize people to do this. The HIP program is to get away from just regulating and saying you can't have lawns or you can't do this sort of landscaping. So kind of the big picture thing is, and this is why I'm because we could just go, we shouldn't be paying people for this stuff. We should just ban certain practices. But this is an alternative to that, and it's maybe not quite the same analogy as the regulatory structure of the septic stuff or the wood stoves. So now,
because you said that,
I
know. It's like, that's a scary thing to tell people. Well, we're going to give you gifts instead of regulating you. And I just don't buy that. I'm sorry. For however you look at it, I don't buy it.
But it's because the analogies in terms of the incentive stuff is good, but it's a different kind of regulatory structure.
Hey, incentives are fine. I'm talking about gifting of money, of public funds. That's not just incentives. That's a gift.
I agree. Incentives, there's great data about it, right? And that's why I think we should combine a zero interest loan program with a discount on the water or the wastewater tax that we put into place. That the combination of the two will get better usage of the program. And if we're talking dollar for dollar impact, us bulk purchasing plants and improvements on land is going to give us way more benefit and ROI on a dollar per dollar impact than it is if we're asking you to go buy it from a retail store and do it on your own and pay a consultant for it. We have the staff to do that, and we already do the programs. So if we're talking about cost of like maintaining loan programs, we do loan programs as it is today. It's rolling more into that at an incremental level, right? But we do that today. So what's the difference in actually going out and doing all the training for the HIP program, for doing all the advertising, for doing the signs that you see posted everywhere about this is a HIP project? All of those things are things that we're paying for that give us zero benefit to what actually happens on the lake. I mean, it's an awareness campaign, but what's the actual return on us putting up a sign on every single sign around Lake Whatcom that says, you check out the HIP program, or this is a HIP property? We're not getting any benefit back from that. So I just don't think it's money well spent.
Yeah, I just thought, just because of what Councilmember Byrd just said, it's a double gift, because you're not only giving people money, then their property is more valuable when they sell it. So it's a double gift to the person.
Like, I don't see it as a political thing at all. I honestly just see it as like I honestly believe it would have a better impact. I think we would get better results. I think if we look at what every year we meet over here and talk about the lake and then what we're trying to achieve on that, it's just like, it's a simple change to me that says we could have a better impact with the money we're spending.
I have a feeling we have some consensus here, just figuring out how to actually get the ordinances changed to do that. Right now, it's about continuing these fundings.
Well, you know what else I would love to find out is, of all the gifts of the public money we've given, what the value individually of those properties are, because I would think it would be more people who have money, more money, would do this stuff than people who don't. So to me, it's not really treating everybody the same.
I'd like to know what of those properties, like how many
No.
still.
He made it.
Well, we could do that. We build bridges and we build roads and we do all sorts of public infrastructure that improve the value of people's property. Are we going to go and say, like, how much more is your house worth because you can
No,
now get
because
across
those are definitely public projects. This is not a public project. These are for private people doing it. That's a whole different thing.
I have a feeling we're going to continue this discussion.
Yes.
You think? Okay.
Okay, meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Meanwhile, back to the vote, yes.
2019 for...
443.
443. We have a motion.
Oh, didn't we already vote on that?
No.
No, we
We'll
didn't.
still be talking about it. All those in favor of AB 2019-443, the funding for the HIP program, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Any abstentions? So I didn't, Mr. Byrd, was that a?
No,
That wasn't, he talks very softly.
Well,
He's
no,
not
you were-
like me. He
you were-
talks softly.
There's feedback. Okay, that passed.
Talk loud.
4-2 with Mr. Byrd and Ms. Brenner opposed and Mr. Brown excused.
The next item is AB 2019-462, the request authorization for the county executive to enter into an interlocal agreement between Whatcom County and Housing Authority of the City of Bellingham for EDI funding in the amount of $600,275 to support the Samish Way Development Project. And this received 3-0 vote, and I so move for approval.
Discussion on this? Mr. Byrd?
I'm abstaining from this. I support the project. I think it's a good project. What I don't support is how HUD's also spending that money in building themselves this beautiful office space on a prime piece of property. I hate when government has the best office, the newest office, the most beautifully designed office at the highest cost, and it's when that could be additional housing that could be done, or what else could they be spending that money on to build more housing versus just nicer offices? I mean, I don't support that, so I'll just.
Crazy.
I sort of want to say the same thing, but when we move forward, when we do more of these housing projects that involve housing, if we could think, I don't know if it's allowed or not by city ordinance, or if we can have childcare involved, like on the bottom floor, or if it has to be retail, So sort of like you're saying, I am going to approve this, but in the future, if we can make sure childcare is part of that for the people there.
This is a $24 million project, I think, and $600,000 from our EDI funds. I like to hope going to the housing portion. So.
What?
How
To going
much
to the
are they
housing
spending for their
portion.
offices?
Yeah,
More than 600,000, right?
Any further discussion on the EDI funding proposal? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? So that passes 5-0-1 with Mr. Byrd abstained and Mr. Brown excused. And Mr. Sadoo, I think you got one more.
Yes, the next item is AB 2019-442, request authorization for the county executive to amend the contract between Whatcom County and Cascadia Law Group, PLC, to increase the maximum compensation by $25,000 and 3 additional tasks. I thought this one was tabled.
That was held in committee.
It was.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
That was held in committee.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, on to Public Works.
Okay, number 467, resolution of intent for substitute House Bill 1406, affordable housing dollars. This passed 3-0, and this might be the most fun vote of the whole evening. It's money to us that we're not raising people's taxes, but the state's giving us back money. Oh, when will that ever happen again?
Yeah, as a result of legislation in Olympia last session, local governments can retain some of the sales tax that the state collects to be spent on affordable housing programs. So
Yeah, I like more of those.
this is a resolution intent of
Yep.
supporting that. So, and that came out of your committee 3-0.
Yep. 3-0 vote.
Right. Any further discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor of 2019-467, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes 6-0 with Mr. Brown excused. And now we are on to council appointments, if I'm doing this right.
Yes.
To boards, commissions, and committees. There is a vacancy on the Board of Commissioners for the Deming-Dyking District, number 2. And we have an application in page 555 of our packet.
I move approval.
Second.
Second it? Okay.
By acclamation.
Wait a
right?
minute, are we
There's only
approving
one.
or are we?
Let's make sure we
There's only
read into
one-
the record who we're, because.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought we would
we're
do that.
so grateful to have people applying
I
to
know.
these things. So,
Yeah, we are doing this appointment.
Yeah,
We are.
this is Mr. Williams's application for the Dyking District.
Right.
Partial term that will serve until February 2020. So we have a motion in favor of that. Sorry. Any further discussion on that appointment?
Do we need a second?
I thought we had. Yeah, I think
Oh, you did. Okay, we got it.
we do and we did.
We do and we did.
Okay, all those in favor of appointing Mr. Williams to the Deming Dyking District, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that passes 6-0 with Mr. Brown absent and our thanks for the applicant. An executive appointment to the Whatcom County Appeals Board for William Dominic Masseri is in our packet on page 559. Do we have a motion for that?
Move to confirm.
Second? Okay. Any further discussion on that? Okay. All those in favor of Mr. Masseri's appointment to the Appeals Board, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 6-0 with Mr. Brown excused. And then we have another item requesting confirmation of the county executive's appointment of Mr. George Edward to the Northwest Senior Services Board. On page
Move to confirm.
Second.
And any further discussion on that? Okay. All those in favor of Mr. Edwards' appointment to the Northwest Senior Services Board, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes 6-0 with Mr. Brown. Ms. Brenner?
I have a question for our clerk. Why on ours, when we're doing the appointment, don't we put the person's name in there if it's only one person?
I think she means on the green
Oh, and the
agenda.
appointment, the county council appointment, the District 2 Dyking, of the Deming Dyking District. It doesn't put the name in the title, but the other, when we're doing the,
I think it's because we usually get so many applications that we just get in
Oh.
the habit of not putting
right,
everybody's
we're
name
not
on
going to
there.
get more than just what the exec sends us. Gotcha.
Okay, we have introduction items 1 through 8.
Move to introduce.
We got a second for that?
Second.
Number 2 is amended page.
Right. There was an amendment on
Amendment,
item number
that's
2
right.
to have the effective date January 1st, 2020.
Effective of January 1st, 2020, at the beginning of the second red paragraph thing.
Do we need a separate motion for that, or we just introduce it as the red version?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So items 1 through 8 on the introduction list there. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes 6-0. Mr. Brown excused. Committee reports. Natural Resource Committee, that is me. We just discussed that. We had the SMP periodic update scoping discussion, and we just voted on that. Finance, again.
Yeah,
Mr.
finance, we had a county executives report. Mr. Laus informed us about the completion of Silver Lake project and invited all of us, whenever get time, to go and visit that. He really likes it. And the other thing was that he has signed the paperwork for Birch Bay Public Works project, the Birch Bay berm. And then we had a report from Brad about the
Quarterly financials.
second quarter financial report. And we are on track with the revenues, and sales tax revenue is actually a little bit positive. And we are on track with the expenses as well. And I think the general fund balance is close to $18 million. But that is expected at the end of the year.
Already there. Committee of the Whole had a 35-minute executive session with our attorney about potential litigation related to a changed Attorney General's opinion about how data might be released or not released from the assessor and the treasurer.
That's good.
That's
Yeah.
Public Works?
Oh, we had, as usual, a wonderful report from the Public Works Director. He always makes, and I think it's true what's going on, but he always makes it so interesting and exciting, and he's an amazing director. I mean, he's one of a kind. Not that the other directors aren't great, but he is so amazing to his staff, and he appreciates them so much. And he tells us all these things they're doing, but he tells us we need to appreciate them more. And I think he's right. So I loved it. Anyway, and the other thing was the discussion of the proposed amendment to the solid waste disposal district regarding the solid waste excise privilege tax. I love that privilege in there. And we did do an amendment to it, and that's on for introduction that we just did, and it'll be on for vote in 2 weeks.
Criminal Justice, Mr. Buchanan, and Public Safety. Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee.
Yes, we had one item today. We talked about the Whatcom County Public Health, Safety, and Justice Initiative. We went over the request for proposal that a small group of the sheriff, the deputy executive, 2 members from the health department, and myself and Kathy. We prepared that over the month of August, and we looked at that today. The document is in a 4-phase form at this point. We agreed to take phase 4, which was public engagement. It wasn't meant to be an individual phase. It's going to be a encompassing communications tool. We also decided that we would take phase 1 and just we asked the administration to move forward on getting some vendor lists, and we'll be talking about that again in 2 to 4 weeks. And that's pretty much what we covered today.
And then our last hearing meeting, Special Committee of the Whole, met to discuss a proposed interlocal agreement between the county and all the cities relating to how the countywide planning policies could be amended. And I think we left off with asking staff for a bit more information about how this would work and express some of our concerns about how the changes might alter the county's role in the current process.
Very well
Want to
said.
Sum it up.
I like how you said
Okay, other items from the council?
And updates, or are we on other items?
Other items and then updates.
I don't have any other.
I always think
other
they're kind of
items.
the same, but.
Those are business items, I guess.
Okay. Council member updates, Mr. Buchanan.
Yeah, just to go along with the Silver Lake theme, my daughter and her husband went up camping there on Sunday. And so my wife and I decided we would go up as well, just do a day trip. And we walked around a lot, and it's just fabulous the way they've done it. The roads are so smooth, which my wife really appreciates. And we also just, you could not tell that there was a lot of trees cut down, but just when you walk around observing, it really looks in a beautiful natural state, and we were very impressed.
Tracy? None for me?
Well, maybe, never mind, I'll tell him.
Council member updates.
Yeah.
Not deputy executive updates for Mr. Allison.
No, I didn't mean, I meant for Pat.
Oh, Pat doesn't get an
I got
update.
something to tell you.
Oh, you, good job tonight. Todd, good job tonight. You did a good job.
There, oh, yeah, really good job.
We ain't out of here yet.
Yay.
Mr. Sadoo.
Yes, I have one update that this Arch of Healing and Reconciliation, we had put in 15 different languages saying word welcome. And actually, just like 7-8 months ago, a few communities came to me to add a few more languages. And we added 7 new additional languages. And there were Black Hawk dancers from Lummi, and there was a choir from Vancouver, British Columbia. There was a representative from Polish consulate in Seattle, and Representative Rick Larson was here, Mayor was here. So it was a great event on Saturday. And it was planned that we will add 100 languages all along the pavers slowly in next 5 years to say word welcome.
Are there in the whole world?
160 or something.
160?
Yeah.
Oh.
Any other?
So what we get to 100, that's plenty. That's plenty welcome.
All right, we are adjourned.
Thank you.
And thank you, Tyler. I didn't mean to. I didn't want to jinx anything by saying.